from Xenstack, and I'm back with a new video on HTML tables. Remember guys, we are not covering the entire thing. There are many things to be covered, but this is what we have to do when we want to create a basic table. So now suppose we want to add a table in our HTML. Now everyone knows table which has rows and columns and header and different things. Now we are going to see how to create table using the same HTML tags. So HTML provides some basic table tags, okay? So which is used for formatting, for rows, for columns and different things. So the main tag, that is the parent tag, is actually the table tag. The table tag acts as a parent tag and all other tags will be coming within the table tag. For assigning rows of the table, we will be using the tr tag. The tr tag is short for table row. That tag resembles table rows. For every row, you have to add a new tr tag. For giving heading of the table, we have to give th, or say creating a column that will act as a heading, we have to create th. Th is short for table heading. Note that the th is always center aligned and bold. That is the default thing which HTML provides us with. To enter data, we have to be using td tag. Td tag is short for table data, and that is the data cells. The data cells, which is the entity of each table. Let's quickly look for an example. Now remember one thing, that table does not comes with borders. If you want to add borders, explicitly you have to put it using CSS, using the CSS attribute. So I'm in my Visual Studio Code right now, and I have created a new file that is student.html. You can create any file with any irrespective of its name. We will be starting with giving emit. Now if you don't have emit, put it in the comment box and we'll come up with a query for that. And to start with, as I told, that table will be the parent tag. So let's just put a h1 here, which would say HTML tables. This is just for our convenience. You can just skip this part. And then an HR is for horizontal rule. And from here on, we will be starting with our table tag. So we'll put the table tag, as I said before, that table tag is the parent tag. Then you can simply give t head. T head means the header part. So th can also do, and t head can also do. T head is the header part in which you will be putting your th. Yeah. So first we will be writing t head, and inside t head, since the header is also a row, we will be writing tr first, tr, and then inside that we will be giving all the column names with th. So we'll tell th, and in th we'll give, say, roll number. Remember, we are creating a student mark sheet. So what all we need is, let's just copy paste this for a couple of times. Okay, so what I have did here is, I have taken the column names as roll number, student name, English, maths and science. You can, I'm just showing it for an example. You can elaborate this as well. Nextly, we have been completed the TR here, that is one row, our heading row has been completed. Let's just close the heading the T head, and the T head is completed here. And after that, we'll start with the T body. T body. Inside the T body, of course, this is the body tag. So we will be writing TR again. So we'll write TR. And this TR would be for the first row, that is first row of roll number, student name, English, maths and science. So the first row, of course, in first row, we will be writing TD. TD is for table data. So first will be for roll number, second will be for name. I'll scroll it down so that you all can see it properly. since my first row is completed now, I'm going to create the same thing for more couple of 3-4 rows. Let's just do that quickly. So what I have did here is I have just copied the same tr block for a couple of times, that is 3 times, and I've just simply changed the values there, simply changes in the marks. And now we have completed with this thing, that is tr, td, and I think we have also completed, we have closed the t body and t table, the table of course. And then let's just save this and execute this. Okay, when I execute this, like by default, as I've said before, that by default we don't have any borders to the table. If you want to give borders, we have to explicitly give it using CSS. So let's go back and see our some CSS attributes and then come back and do the formatting. Let's go back to the PPT. So the CSS properties are like this border collapse. Border collapse means that since we will be giving border to each cell, we don't want borders to each cell, because what happens is that borders given to each cell will not make it look like a table. We want sharing borders for adjacent cells. That is what is done with border collapse. With self padding simply means it is the space maintained between the content and the borders. That is, it should not be too sticky to the borders. It should be proper alignment between the content and the border. Next is text align. Now text align simply means to align it. We can give it center, we can give it right, we can give it left, justify, and whatever you want to give according to your will. The last one is border spacing. Border spacing simply means that if you are giving multiple borders, if you are giving borders to each cell, the space between the borders of each cell is called border spacing. We will look each one going through the example. So let's use a style tag here. The style tag is used whenever we want to include any CSS attribute. So similarly, we will be using style tag here. And let's just give table the border so that you know how what exactly border looks like. So I'm giving border, which is simply some different color. I'd likely to use different color, and 2px and dot it. So I've used like this. When I execute this in my browser, I'll get something like this. I'll get something only covered to my this covered to my borders. Like for example, it is not covered in the it doesn't cover the cells. It just covers the border. Suppose I'm giving for everything. Suppose I'm giving for th, td, and tr as well. In that case, I'm going to get multiple borders. I'm going to get, let's just make it black so that it's quite visible. So it's this, and if I make it solid, I make it solid like this, it'll be more clearer now. Now the thing here is it is not sharing the borders. It is not sharing the borders. It is giving borders to each cell. That is, each cell means each heading cell, each row, everything is just bordered up. So what we want to do is we want to use our CSS properties, that is uh, that is different types of cell spacing and things like that, so that we get sharing borders. Okay, so that is our main thing. So first thing to do that is what we'll do is we'll simply give borders to, let's just use border collapse, and then we'll give collapse. Let's just see if this makes any changes here. And if you see this, now we are sharing the borders. Okay, we don't have different borders, but we are sharing the borders. Next thing we'll be doing is, now we'll be needing padding. Now for padding, we don't have to go in the table tag. We will be going in our tdth tag, because that is where the padding resides. So I'm going to give padding. I'll give padding like say 10 px and see what happens here. If I give padding 10 px, yeah, it is having some kind of amount of space between the content and the borders, which is looking now neat and tidy. Secondly, if you see, all are they are aligned in right alignment. If you see the data cells, they are right aligned. But if you want to give everyone different alignment, you can simply give it this way, like center. I've given center here. And if you see now, the data cells have been shifted to center. Now next thing, if I just comment this collapse, I've simply comment the collapse. Now I'll be showing you what exactly border spacing means. Now since we have borders and we want space between the borders, if we want more space between the borders, what we are going to do is we are going to simply use border spacing. I'm going to give say I'm going to give 10 px here. Yes, if you see this, it is also giving us a different look. If you want to do something like this with your table, you can do that. After this, let's just comment this back because we don't want it like this. We'll be uncommenting this because we want to look at like this. After this, you can also give many different things. You can give like background color and all that thing. If you want only for th, like only for th, you can give background color. You can give background color, and only for say td, you can give another background color. Let's just see this now. Yes, it is looking different now. So you can play with colors, of course, and you can give also font colors. If I give color here like gray, because it would go good with green. So this is how it would look. Okay, so this was about HTML table. Now we will be also seeing one last thing in this. So table cell spanning. Table cell spanning basically means just to divide a particular row or columns into sub columns or sub rows. So see, you won't get this idea immediately, but once we see the example, I assure you guys that you will get a perfect idea of this. Just remember that we have attributes like col span and row span. Col span means column spanning and row span means row spanning. Let's see an example so that we get an exact idea how it works. Okay, so what I have did here is I have opened my Visual Studio Code and I have created a file, a .html file naming call span example. So basically what we have to do here is now if we have name and that would be oriented differently like first name and last name, what we'll do is we'll be creating two columns. One is name and the other would be nickname. Let's see that. So what we do is we're going to start with Emmet, and then inside the body tag we are going to give table, and I'll also show you how to give style here. You can also give style. This is called inline CSS. It is simply style. Give its width. You can give width, you can give border, you can give. Now I'm giving width because I want it to completely cover my page, and with that I'm going to close it. After that I'll be creating tr. This would be my first row. In the first row, I want the first row to be my heading. So I'll be creating th. In the previous example, I showed you some tags like t head and t body. Remember that it is not mandatory to put those tags, so you can also opt out for them. Next is I'm putting a th. Th will act like my heading. Now what I want to do here is the first would be name. So I'm just going to put the first thing name, and suppose that particular person will have a nickname also. So nickname can be multiple names, okay? So what we'll do is for the second th, we'll be creating call span, and we want it to divide into two columns, and that would be say nickname or pet name, okay? So something like this. We're going to complete this tr, and then next we are going to open tr, and similarly remember now we have three columns. One is the name column and the remaining two will be the nickname columns. So the first one, what we are going to do is we are simply going to put any name, and then after that, you have to make sure that you always put it in TD, because every cell has to be in TD. Remember that. Okay, so next thing what we are going to do is remember that the coming two will be your nicknames. So I'm going to just give any random nickname. So I've just given two random names here, and after that I'm going to complete the TR, then the table and the body. You can do similar for many rows. I have just did it for two rows. One will be the header and the other will be the data cells. Let's just save this and see an example. So we've got this, and why do you think is it so much exaggerated? We did not give it any borders. So let's just give border and let's just make it look like a proper table. So let's just go back here, and inside the head we'll give some CSS styles. So what do we want? We want a table, we want border, we want 2px, we want it to be collapsed. For th, let's give a background. Of course you can opt this out, you can skip this part, but it is always good to see all this. And for td, let's give something else. Yeah, so something like this. And with this also what we'll do is we'll give font family. So I'm giving font family to all my table values. Font family. Font size, I'll keep it say large, and then I'll give font family. Font family would be something like this. And then lastly I'll also give alignment. Text aligned, let's keep it in the left. Let's just execute this and see what happens. Yes, now if you can see, we have this thing here. See that we have got it over here, but we don't find any divider here as such. So let's just do that quickly. Yeah, so now we're getting the borders as well. What was happening is, since it was a color, it was just diminishing the border values, but by the end of this we are getting how to create this column span. And also what we'll do is we'll lower the width so that you all will be perfectly seeing this. Yeah, okay, so this was all about it, guys. So tune in for our next videos, and the contact details are given below. Please reach us through, and we can provide you we have many technologies, we can provide you with that. Please contact us. Thank you.